So going along with our theme for January, which is no justice in January, I was thinking of No Country for Old Men. January does not feel like a place for middle-aged mama four, but more and more in this world, nothing feels like a place for middle-aged mama four. So we got 3 moves this month that are not specifically building on moves from previous months. So if you're just coming back to strength, don't worry about it. You're not going to be behind. What we are doing, if you have been here, is we're going to build on some of the principles that we've been talking about and pull them all together. So the 3 moves: tight, lateral, arm circles. What is that? Alternating pull down row with a twist, and tricep booty side drops. All things you were probably going to Google and not be able to find. So the last couple months, we've been talking about the aspects of locking a cage. That open collarbone with a big exhale. So before we go any further, I'm going to chat for a minute while you go get yourself a chair to work with so we can put our butt bones on the edge of it. I want you to get on the floor and do a quick pelvic tilt. All that requires putting your head down, letting the back of your shoulders touch the ground. First, we're going to raise our arms up to 90 degrees with your shoulders touching the ground. Now, this is the position I want you to think about. Your arms back in the sockets, not reaching forward ever. We're keeping them in the sockets with those muscles down there activated. Now, second thing, with your arms up, press small your back to the floor with a big exhale. That is an activated TVA. And that is the key. With the exhale, this plus this in the armpit is what is really going to support your cage in a way that leads to power when you run. So if your glutes are activating, that's key. That's part of it. But that's not all of it, because your lower back and those glutes need to be supported with muscles here and here. So first, we're going to roll our shoulders back. Think about that big exhale like we just had on the floor. Keep our shoulders back in the sockets, not slumping forward or reaching forward. We're going to tap our elbows against our waist. Bring our arms straight to the side. Now, if this is painful for you, then we can bend or we can lower a little bit, but just don't raise them. We really want to try to keep everything in line of our shoulders. We're going to do little tiny circles. All of it is going to come back down to these muscles in your armpits being activated, though. Don't just this isn't coming from your hands. All of the motion should originate in your armpits. It's a freaky feeling. Don't let it come up into your neck, but that's why these are tiny little movements. Teeny tiny circles. If those circles are too much, then we can just hang out here and hold. Want your feet flat on the ground with your cage locked. I want you to feel a little bit of tension down in here, just like we did on the ground, some under your armpits, supported by your TVA. Okay, that's the first one. Going to be doing it for about a minute. Take as many breaks as you need. You'll feel it in your shoulders, but you should feel it less in your shoulders because it's supported by your armpits. Okay? Okay, are we good with that? Great. Okay, next thing we're going to are the tricep pulls. Now, you can do this with weights, but I'd say start without first, because coming after that first minute, it's going to feel like a lot. Scoot your boot to the end of the chair. We really want your sits bones at the edge of your chair. And then with your arms, again, not reaching forward, but just like we did on the ground, raise in line with your shoulders. Sorry, with your fists in line with your shoulders, shoulders back in the sockets. Twist and pull, alternating. Make sure each time you pull back, you're not reaching forward again, right? We want to make sure, big exhale, cage is locked, armpits engaged, shoulders back with the twist. So you feel the twist originating here along with the pull. Even if you don't have a weight in your hand, there's going to be a whole lot of body resistance going on. You should feel, if you're exhaling and using your TVA the way I want you to, you should feel this all the way up and down your lats. You're welcome, especially right behind the love handles, which I know I try not to think about, but they're there, and there's a muscle there too. And sometimes waking it up is fun. Finally, the booty drops. I'm going to show you this from the front and from the side because it's a little hard to articulate. We can do it on a chair or in a floor. On the floor. There's no need to try to make anything more challenging. Do the work first and then ask yourself, does this work for me? If you want more, you can do the extra mile with Coach Janet. If you don't really want more, we can make small alternates, and your coaches will know how to do that if you ask them me today. Or if you're not sure, you can ask me and ask away. But promise you, if you just do this, you're going to get a lot out of it, because you need all of this to fire, to feel strength and supported in your run. And we're going to be targeting a different body part throughout the year. Every month it's going to be changing. So if you stick around, you won't get bored, and it will be progressive. And by the time we get into your marathon training ramp, should you choose to go that way, I think you'll see there'll be a big, huge difference, because we're pulling your body together little by little. Okay, so with that, again, before we move, think about your shoulders. We tend to slouch a little bit. On top of your sits bones, shoulders back, and then edge your way off the seat. What tends to happen again is that people like to go way out, and I don't want that. I just want your booty off the chair. Good support, and then let one side lead the way to the ground. I don't care how low you go. I care that your feet, I care that it feels awkward, okay? This is proprioceptive training. I want your elbows bending. I want your armpits supporting, and I want one side of your booty dropping while you find your balance. It's going to feel weird. You're not going to be really sure what you're doing or why I've asked you to do it. And if that is what you feel, I promise you're doing it correctly. Because what we want you to do is see where stability comes from. And as hard as it is to believe, it really does start in the armpits. So, boop, 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 boop. Don't let it go up. Don't let your shoulders crunch up. Take as many breaks as you need to. Boop, boop, boop. Just let the booty drop. Don't worry about how far. Don't worry about how deep. Don't try to turn it into a push-up. Focus on motion that is supported by your armpits. Now, put all that together, and a runner you shall be. You are coached. You are loved. There's no justice in January, but that don't mean we can't win.